She was refused a gown try-on at the city's top-tier bridal boutique due to her outfit. Tan culottes and a cotton top. The employees eyed her from head to toe, then snickered. "You're likely in the incorrect spot. Our gowns begin at $80,000. We do not lease." Even after Na displayed her confirmation email, they declined to accept it. One murmured, "Did she swipe somebody's booking? Likely just another fame-seeker acting celebrity." And every one of those identical individuals, they attended the billionaire's nuptials. They watched her arrive in yet another plain tan dress. They ridiculed her once more. They summoned security. But as the chapel entrance parted, they spun around and went rigid. Nina Everhart entered Maison Claire de Lune on a brisk April dawn, the sort where New York City buzzed with potential and the avenues carried a subtle scent of coffee and drizzle. The shop, tucked along Madison Avenue, served as a sanctuary of opulence. Its display windows bordered by cream roses, its entrance protected by a subtle gold sign. Within, chandeliers cascaded crystals and rows of dresses glistened like trapped starbeams. Na, clad in her tan culottes and relaxed cotton shirt, appeared as if she'd strayed from another realm. Her auburn locks were gathered in a simple, low knot, her complexion natural save for a touch of rose on her mouth. At 29, her allure was gentle. Elevated cheekbones, hazel irises that appeared to conceal mysteries, and a subdued elegance that prompted a second glance. She toted a plain canvas bag, without labels, draped over one shoulder. The four attendants, dressed in fitted black outfits, their hair as polished as their grins, halted their discussion. The tallest, Camille, raised an eyebrow. "May we assist you?" Her inflection implied the response was negative. Na grinned undisturbed and retrieved her phone. "I'm scheduled for my try-on. Nina Everhart, 11 o'clock. She rotated the display, revealing an email bearing the shop's emblem and her session specifics. Camille's gaze darted to the screen, then returned to Na's attire. A grin twisted her mouth. "Apologies. This has to be an error. Our dresses start at $80,000. This is an exclusive studio." Her words were sugary, yet the sting was obvious. The remaining three, Laya, Margot, and Sophie, shared looks, their mouths quivering. Laya, the least experienced, bent closer, her tone a theatrical hush. Did she hijack someone's message? It occurs constantly. Na's demeanor stayed steady. "No error," she replied, her voice even, like water gliding over pebbles. "I submitted my commission 6 months back. Bespoke creation, ivory silk, diamond detailing." She articulated with accuracy, no trace of uncertainty. Yet Camille folded her arms, her polished nails drumming. "Dear, we avoid drop-ins, and we certainly avoid." She motioned toward Na's culottes, her nostrils flaring. "This." Margot, scanning a device, chuckled. Nina Everhart. Unfamiliar name. Doubtless another aspirant with a phony alias. Sophie, positioned near a display of veils, drew out her phone and began entering text, her digits racing. "This is priceless," she mumbled, already broadcasting live. Her overlay stated, "Unknown and discount attire invades a bridal session." The reactions poured in rapidly, emoji laughter. "Who does she think she's fooling? Remove her." Now remained motionless, her bag resting against her side. She avoided debate, avoided elevating her tone. "I'd prefer to consult the supervisor," she stated, courteous yet resolute. Camille burst into laughter, a piercing, slicing noise. "Sweetie, I run the place, and you're absent from our roster. Avoid causing a disturbance." She gestured to Laya, who advanced, her grin slim. "Departure time." They refrained from contact, for now. But they surrounded her, guiding her to the exit like an unwanted animal. As Na lingered near the shop's plush drapes, gripping her bag, a prosperous patron in a mink wrap entered the conflict. "Wu permitted this trash inside," she snapped, her diamond studs sparkling with each syllable. Her identity was Victoria Lang, a high society figure whose clan controlled half the Upper East Side, and her tone bore the burden of entitlement. She neared, her stilettos tapping like a timer, and flicked Na's shirt with a groomed finger. "This offends high fashion," she hissed loudly enough for the reflections to repeat. The attendants applauded her, Laya smacking hands as if it were a game. Victoria's companions, two ladies in Chanel, captured images, their chuckles cutting sharper than knives. Na's grasp tightened, but her expression stayed tranquil, a china facade concealing the turmoil inside. The broadcast reactions swelled. "Garbage has no place here." Forced tears. The audience observed, eager for her suffering, unaware of the influence she possessed. Na proceeded with them, her pace calculated, her countenance peaceful. "You're erring," she uttered quietly, nearly to herself. Sophie's device recorded it, and her audience, now 2,000, devoured it. "She's unhinged," one note declared. "Believes she's famous," another joined. As Na approached the exit, Camille shouted behind her. "Attempt a chain store next occasion." The glass panel closed with a swing, and the roadway engulfed her. In hours, Sophie's broadcast became widespread. Page 6 featured a title enigmatic lady in tan trousers intrudes premium bridal parlor. Vanity Fair labeled her the fanciful imposter. The Daily Mail was harsher. Style blunder or attention grabber. Encounter the unknown, who assumed she fit in. Twitter burst with edited images. Naz Killets superimposed on award walks captioned, "When you confirm to a ceremony but overlook the attire rules." Nobody recognized her identity, but they recognized her disgrace, or so they believed. 2 days afterward, a squadron of exclusive aircraft landed at a manor in the French rural area, a 17th-century property named Château de Lumière. Its grounds overflowed with lavender and blooms, its towers stabbing a sky so azure it pained the eyes. This marked the event of the season. Raphael Linwood, successor to Linwood Media, a $40 billion conglomerate that possessed half the planet's publications, video services, and information channels. At 32, Raphael was mysterious, tall with black hair and gaze that could enchant or direct. A figure who'd expanded his parents' heritage into a worldwide power. The spouse, her title unknown to all. The media had been muted, an achievement only Raphael could achieve, claiming protection issues. Speculation circled. She was nobility, a technology magnate, a hidden supermodel. The attendee roster was a directory of style and authority. Publishers, creators, tastemakers, all pledged to confidentiality. Summonses had been sent to Maison Claire de Lune's employees, Camille, Laya, Margot, Sophie, plus a dozen tastemakers who'd boosted the broadcast. They figured it was their influence that secured entry. Sophie, now, with 10,000 fresh admirers, paraded through the manor's entrances in a scarlet robe, her device already active. "This is my highlight," she murmured to Laya, who donned jade fabric and a self-satisfied smirk. Camille, in deep blue plush, surveyed the assembly, name dropping to willing ears. Margot, more reserved in ebony trim, remained nearby, her gaze flicking as if detecting a change in atmosphere. The plaza was a spectacle. Stone water features, pale lilies, a string ensemble performing Vivaldi. Attendees socialized, their jewels sparkling, their mirth keen. Then a wave passed through the group, heads pivoting. Now Everhart passed through the entrances. She donned a tan linen frock, without sleeves, brushing her knees. Her locks were free, cascading in gentle curls around her face. Her shoes were basic, worn at the fronts. No ornaments, no purse, merely her palms lightly joined ahead. She resembled someone exiting a produce market, not a tycoon's ceremony. Sophie noticed her initially, her inhale loud. "Impossible," she whispered, lifting her device. The tan trousers woman. Camille's gaze thinned, her mouth twisting. "She has audacity." Laya chuckled, sufficiently to attract looks. "Is she intruding again in that?" Margot paused, her digits clenching her purse, but remained silent. The tastemakers, headed by Zara Kane, a style broadcaster with 1 million subscribers, converged, their devices ready, their tones a symphony of disdain. Did she misnavigate to a second-hand shop? Zara joked, her lilac attire rustling as she orbited Na. This is mortifying. Another tastemaker, Theo Voss, inserted, his golden link shining as he took a picture. Na stayed unflinching. She positioned in the plaza, her hazel gaze surveying the assembly, her stance erect as a sword. A server presented champagne. She refused with a tilt, her grin subtle but inviting. The attendees tightened, their murmurs honing. She's irrelevant. One publisher grumbled. Likely paid her entry. A wardrobe expert jeered. Sophie resumed broadcasting, her overlay striking. Tan girl invades tycoon ceremony round 2. The watches rose. 20,000, 30,000, notes overflowing. Expel her. What a failure. Camille advanced, her tone cutting the melody. You have no place here, she declared loudly enough for the ensemble to stumble. In the plaza, as Na confronted Camille's charges, a group of style trainees, clustered by the water feature, their badges dangling like loops. One, a keen-eyed youth named Tessa, moved ahead, her tone bold with drive. She's likely here to pilfer a dress. She bellowed, aiming at Na's bag as if it concealed evidence. The trainees cheered, spurred by Tessa's beam, and one hurled a Halaton treat, the rose fragments marking Na's attire. Return that to Brooklyn. Another shouted, their glee a savage wave. Sophie's broadcast focused, seizing the mark on Na's edge. The trainees' barbs now popular as tan girls defeat. Na swept the bits aside, her actions intentional, but each taunt struck like rock, stacking taller. The assembly thrived on it, their devices preserving her humiliation, unaware of the dominion she led. This is an exclusive gathering. Depart or security arrives. Laya added. Avoid further embarrassment. Zara's chuckle was a lash. She's managing that herself, dear. The assembly drew nearer, their devices a barrier of optics, recording Na's quiet, her poise. She regarded Camille, her stare firm, nearly tender. I'm welcomed, she stated, her tone soft yet distinct. Inspect the roster. Camille sneered, dismissing with a wave. You're missing from every roster. She beckoned, a protector, a sturdy fellow named Hugo with a cropped cut and communication device. He neared, his palm lingering near Na's limb. Lady, time to leave, he uttered, his manner neutral. Na stayed put. Request raffle, she replied, her gaze fixed on Hugo's. He'll resolve this. The title fell like weight, and for an instant, Camille faltered. Then she chuckled sharply and vividly. Raffle Linwood, you're imagining. Hugo seized Na's joint, solid but not harsh, and started guiding her to the entrances. The assembly trailed, a horde sensing prey. Sophie's broadcast reached 50,000 watchers, her tone joyful. Here it comes again. Tan girl receives eviction. Zara flipped her locks, shouting, perhaps attempt a registry office next. The Theo yelled, direct her to budget areas. Their glee bounced off the manor's stone surfaces, a noise that could shatter frailer spirits. As Hugo started directing Na to the entrances, a renowned creator, Julian Rex, famed for his cutting-edge presentations, merged with the throng, his silk wrap waving like a banner of scorn. This is why we restrict access, he announced, his tone resounding for the tastemakers to record. He bent toward Na, his scent pungent and mocked. You're a strolling parody of style. The assembly bellowed, energized as Julian discarded his drink tissue at her soles, the sheet drifting like a dare. Zara and Theo repeated him, repeating, no style, no spot. Sophie's broadcast hit 60,000, her focus dwelling on Na's soiled shoes, now dotted with soil from the trail. Na crossed over the tissue, her back erect, but the creator's phrases adhered like moist atmosphere. Each sound a cut no one observed bleed. The planet chuckled harder, oblivious to her resilience. Now advanced, her attire catching the wind, her expression unreadable. Midway to the entrances, a technology tycoon named Priya Shah, clad in a robe of liquid gold, shoved through the assembly, her wrist ornaments clinking like links. She's deceiving everyone? Priya screeched, her tone piercing enough to quiet the ensemble. She aimed at Na, her fingers like blades, and hissed, "You believe you're smart infiltrating. You're zero." The assembly advanced, devices blinking as Priya snatched a rosé glass from a moving platter and hurled it at Na. The rose fluid splattering her attire, trickling down her limbs. Sophie's broadcast burst. 80,000 watchers now, notes yelling, "Submerge the imposter." Nay halted, dabbing a bead from her face, her gaze firm, but smoldering with something unvoiced. Priya chuckled, victorious as the horde roared, their malice ablaze. Nobody ventured to halt. She avoided pleading, avoided disputing. She proceeded like one aware the tempest would fade. As they arrived at the plaza's border, Margot detached from the cluster, her complexion ashen. She met Na's gaze, her tone scarcely heard. "Forgive me?" she breathed, then retreated, absorbed by the assembly. Now inclined, a spark of kindness in her look, but uttered nothing. Hugo's hold firmed as they closed on the entrances, the assembly's mocks cresting. "Ceremony intruder," someone shouted. "Return home," another jeered. Sophie focused, seizing Na's grimy shoes, her simple attire, the poise in her frame. The net thundered, "Chash beige gate." Popular worldwide, edited images growing. Now in her linen attire, captioned, "When you infiltrate, but skip the upgrade." Then she vanished. Hugo guided her through a lateral portal out of view. The assembly burst in applause, toasting glasses their win sweet. She escaped, Zara boasted, uploading a segment of Na's departure. Utter humiliation. Theo inserted, his admirers approving by thousands. Camille lifted her champagne vessel, her grin victorious. "That's managing an unknown," she declared. And the ensemble restarted, the instants brushed off like particles. Within the manor, the main chamber awaited. Its vaults decorated with angels, its surfaces shining stone, its settings arranged with blooms and glassware. Attendees flowed in, their robes whispering, their talk humming about the tan girl incident. Sophie checked her broadcast figures, 100,000 views now. Her messages overflowed with companies seeking partnerships. Camille networked with a Vogue publisher, hinting at her knack for detecting frauds. Laya and Zara arranged for photos, their overlays arrogant, maintaining elegance at the event of the season. Only Margot remained mute, her gaze on the portals, her digits twirling her pendant. The chamber darkened, flames dancing alive. A quiet descended as the rite approached. Raphael Linwood emerged at the platform, his black attire fitted flawlessly, his aura charged. He positioned solo, his gaze sweeping the space, a subtle grin on his mouth. The attendees bent ahead without breath. Where was the spouse? Murmurs spread. Had she withdrawn? Was there drama? Sophie began entering, prepared to report. Then the portals parted wide. Every face pivoted. Now Everhart proceeded in. She donned the robe, the one denied for trial. Ivory fabric poured like a cascade, its upper section studded with gems that seized the flame glow and flared. The lower part trailed behind her, a fine extension murmuring over the stone. Her locks were elevated, a lone gem pin shining like a tiara. She was stunning, not merely for the attire, but for the authority in her stride, the blaze in her gaze. On her limb was Raphael Linwood, his palm firm, his stare fixed on her like she was the sole reality in the space. The chamber was mute, a shared inhale, suspended in moment. Camille's vessel slid from her grasp, breaking on the surface. Sophie's device shook, her broadcast ongoing, now at 200,000 watchers. Zara's mouth fell, her lilac attire abruptly gaudy. Theo's links appeared to strangle him. Margot's gaze expanded, a drop escaping. The attendees, publishers, creators, tycoons, gawked, their assurance fracturing. Now avoided their view. She advanced, her limb in Raphael's, her head elevated, her poise a edge that sliced their contempt. Raphael halted at the platform, facing the assembly. His tone was deep, but it resonated like storm. "This is Nina Everhart," he announced, "my spouse." The term struck like explosion, demolishing the space. "We've been promised for 2 years, orchestrating this occasion in privacy." Not for notoriety, but for ourselves. Nay requested I withhold her title from media, and I complied. Not because she's fragile, but because she's mightier than anyone present. He halted, allowing the fact to absorb. Na positioned beside him, her robe a signal, her quiet more resonant than any address. Raphael's gaze stiffened, but his manner remained level. She's additionally the creator and head of Eve, the style house you've all donned unknowingly. Inhales waved through the assembly. Eve, simple yet transformative, a label that had risen from obscurity to rule presentations and award paths. Its originator was an enigma, her persona protected like national intelligence. Until this moment, Na constructed Eve from zero, Raphael proceeded. His admiration alive. No backers, no ties, just her sketches, her foresight, and a computer in a Brooklyn workspace. Today, Eve is appraised at $10 billion, and she's set to launch publicly for $1.2 billion. She commands this field, whether you approve or not. The assembly was an ocean of shocked expressions. Camille's legs weakened, her deep blue attire gathering as she clutched a seat. Sophie's broadcast climbed to 500,000. Notes yelling, "She's Eve's head." We were clueless. Zara's device fell, fracturing on the stone. Theo whispered, "Unbelievable." But his tone was empty. Margot's weeping grin expanded. She'd sensed somehow that now was greater. Raphael's tone honed, an edge revealed. And Maison Claire de Lune. Na's been discussing purchase for months. As of yesterday, she's the majority holder. Camille inhaled sharply, a choked noise. Laya's jade attire seemed to constrict her. Sophie's broadcast seized it all. Her audience now at 700,000. The net ignited. Raphael's stare scanned the space, fixing the culpable. You derided her, degraded her, broadcast her agony. You assessed her by her garments, not her spirit, and you erred. He inclined to a lady in a slate outfit. Elena Ruiz, Na's primary aide, who advanced with a lit device. Elena, Raphael stated, identify them. Elena's tone was frost. Camille Morrow, Liatran, Sophie Bell, for directing and broadcasting Na's degradation at Maison Claire de Lune. Zara, Theo Voss, for spreading the defamation. Here, you're finished. Protectors advanced quick and quiet. Camille yelled, "This is wrong." As Hugo grasped her limb, guiding her out, her deep blue attire snagged on a setting, ripping at the join. As Camille was pulled to the entrances, her deep blue attire now, a wrinkled mess. The assembly's quiet was overwhelming, interrupted only by her frantic appeals. "I constructed Claire de Lune," she yelled, her tone breaking as Hugo's hold remained steady. Beyond, photographers crowded, their optics unyielding, seizing her smudged makeup face, her torn edge dragging in the soil. A title appeared on a journalist's device. Claire de Lune manager, dismissed by Enigma spouse. Online shifted. Camille's own admirers abandoned in masses, her title now a joke. Attendees murmured. She derided the incorrect lady. Elena's device signaled with updates. Claire de Lune's value plunged, backers escaping as Na's union approached. Camille staggered, her domain crumbling with each pace, while Na's prominence ascended, invincible. Laya trailed, weeping, her jade fabric dragging like loss. Sophie attempted to end broadcast, but a protector seized her device, her 800,000 watchers witnessing her decline. Zara's objections. I'm Zara Kane. Diminished as she was guided past the lilies, her lilac attire a waning gleam. Theo stuttered, I was unaware. But the protectors ignored, escorting him to the entrances. Priya's departure was a display of broken ego. As protectors guided her out, her gold attire snagged on a bloom bush, tearing loudly, her wrist ornaments clattering to the earth. You cannot, she wailed. But the photographers were ruthless, their lights dazzling as they called, Grin, Priya. Her technology domain's value dropped, reports of her shame spreading quicker than Sophie's broadcast. Attendees whispered, she splashed wine at Na. Deserved. Online, hashtag Priya falls popular, her partnerships voided, her admirers fleeing to Na's poise. The manor's entrances closed firmly behind her, sealing her hotness eternally. While Na's pledge of dignity resounded, a signal for a fresh age, the media awaiting beyond frenzied. Lights illuminated the darkness. Titles forming. Style leaders expelled from Linwood Right. Now Everhart, Eve's hidden ruler, exacts justice. Online exploded. Now Everhart popular globally. Edited images now praising her robe, her poise, her authority. The Planet revised her tale instantly. Now advanced, her tone gentle yet firm. This concerns not retribution, she stated. The chamber suspended on her words. It's regarding dignity. I founded Eve to craft allure, not separation. But I've witnessed how this field devours anyone who fails its template. That ends today. She halted, her hazel gaze scanning the space, pausing briefly on Margot, who positioned solo, her face marked with drops. Maison Claire de Lune will unite with Eve. No further exclusion, no further malice. We'll craft for every lady, not solely those you judge fit. The assembly was mute, some inclining, others too shocked to shift. Na's stare eased, but her determination was steel. And to those who assessed me, absorb this. Generosity demands nothing, but malice carries cost. She faced Raphael, her palm seeking his, their bond a silent blaze. The officiant, a white-haired Frenchman named Father Julien, advanced, his garments whispering. The rite commenced. Pledges shared beneath a dome of celestial lights. Nar vowed to support Raphael, her tone constant as sunrise. Raphael pledged to guard her, his gaze fixed on hers. The embrace was soft, a bond of peers. The celebration unfolded in the grounds, lamps shining, melodies threading the breeze. Now and Raphael swayed, her robe gleaming like lunar glow, his palm firm on her spine. Elena neared later, her device dim. Complete, she stated. Claire de Lune's team ended immediately. The union declared, the planet hails you a pioneer. Na grinned, resting against Raphael. Excellent. Maintain it so. As darkness deepened, Na located Margot by the water feature, her ebony trim damp with drops. You sought pardon, Na stated, her tone inviting. That counted. Margot inclined, struggling. I was ignorant of your identity. Na contacted her limb. No need to know a title for kindness. She halted, then inserted. Eve Bridal requires a representative. I'd prefer you. Margot's gaze expanded, her inhale halting. Me. Now inclined. You perceived me when others failed. The gathering swirled onward, but Na and Raphael withdrew, positioning alone at the manor's border, the rural expanse dark and infinite. He swept a lock from her face, his tone deep. You altered the rules tonight. She grinned, her hazel gaze seizing the lights. We accomplished together. They were not merely spouses. They were a power reshaping a field's essence with every stride. Now Everhart required no proclamation of her value. She'd traversed flames and risen as radiance. If this tale struck you profoundly, remember to approve, distribute, remark, and follow for